with the hope that you will all be well. Let's start today's lecture. As we are discussing about Torian, in previous lectures we studied some theoretical concepts of Torian, discussing about torsional deformations of a circular bar, shear strain at the outer surface of the bar, and shear strain within the bar and circular tubes. We also studied the circular bars of linearly elastic materials, in which we see the expressions of shear stresses at the outer surface and interior of the bar, torsional formula, polar moment of inertia, and angle of twist. However, in this part of lecture, we will try to solve some problems by applying the theoretical concepts learned in previous lectures of Torian. So let's start. The problem statement is: a steel bar of circular cross section, as shown here in figure, has diameter D is 1.5 inch and length, that is symbolized with L, is 54 inch. And shear modulus of elasticity G is 11.5 cross 10 raised to the power 6 psi. The bar is subjected to torques T acting at the ends. In part A, it is given that the torque has magnitude 250 pound-feet. We have to find out the maximum shear stress in the bar and the angle of twist between the ends. In part B, it is given the allowable shear stress is 6000 psi and the allowable angle of twist is 2.5 degree. In part B, we have to find out the maximum permeable torque. So after analyzing the problem statement, now we will move towards the solution. In part A, we have to find out the shear stress and angle of twist. Because the bar has a solid circular cross section, we can find the maximum shear stress by using the equation of maximum shear stress that applies on solid bars having circular cross section. The equation is expressed as tau max is equal to 16T over pi d cube. Here in this equation, T represents the Torian and D is the diameter of the tube. We know the value of D, that is 1.5 as given in the statement. But we have to convert the Torian, that is 250 in pound feet, to inch per feet. And for this we have to multiply 250 with 12. So after putting all the values and performing some calculations, the maximum shear stress will be 4530 psi. In the same way, the angle of twist is obtained by using the equation phi is equal to TL over GIP. Here G is the shear modulus of elasticity and IP is the polar moment of inertia. The value of Torian, length L and G are already given in the statement, but we have to find out the polar moment of inertia IP. The equation of polar moment of inertia for solid circular bar is IP is equal to pi d4 over 32. We know the value of D, that is 1.5 inch. So the value of polar moment of inertia is 0.4970 after putting the value of D in the equation. After calculating the value of polar moment of inertia, now we have all the required values put in the equation of angle of twist, and after some simplification the value of phi will be 1.62 degree. Thus the analysis of the bar under the action of the given torque is completed. However, in part B we have to determine the maximum permissible torque. The maximum permissible torque is calculated either by the allowable shear stress or by the allowable angle of twist. So beginning with the shear stress, we rearrange the equation of shear stress that applies to solid circular bar. The equation is tau is equal to 16T over pi d cube. So after rearranging the equation for Torian, it becomes as T is equal to pi d cube tau over 16. Here we know the value of D, that is 1.5 inch, and the value of allowable shear stress also given in the statement, that is 6000 psi. So after some simplification, the maximum permissible torque is 3980 pound inch, or we can also write this as 331 pound feet. Any torque larger than this value will result in a shear stress that exceeds the allowable stress of 6000 psi. Now using the rearranged equation of angle of twist, that is phi is equal to TL over GIP. We rearrange this equation in the form of T is equal to GIP phi over L. We now calculate the torque based upon angle of twist as all the values are known. However, for this we have to convert the angle of twist to radians. And after some simplifications here, the torque that based on angle of twist will be 4618 pound inch or 385 pound feet. However, any torque larger than this value will result in the allowable angle of twist being exceeded. The maximum permissible torque is the smaller of T1 and T2. So the maximum value is 331 pound feet. So now we will try to solve another problem for better understanding of the studied topics. The problem statement is a steel shaft is to be manufactured either as a solid circular bar or as a circular tube, as shown here in figure. The shaft is required to transmit a torque of 1200 Newton meter without exceeding an allowable shear stress of 40 megapascal or an allowable rate of twist of 0.75 degree per meter. Here the shear modulus of elasticity of the steel is given, that is 78 gigapascal. We have to find out the required diameter d0 of the solid shaft in part A. However, in part B we have to find out the required outer diameter d2 of the hollow shaft if the thickness T of the shaft is specified as 1/10 of the outer diameter. In part C, we have to calculate the ratio of diameters, that is the ratio of d2 over d1 and the ratio of weights of the hollow and solid shafts. So after analyzing the problem statement, now we will move towards the solution. In part A, we have to find out the required diameter of the solid shaft. The required diameter d0 is determined either from the allowable shear stress or from the allowable rate of twist. However, in the case of allowable shear stress, we rearrange the equation of shear stress of solid circular bar. As discussed in previous problem, the equation of shear stress is Ta is equal to 16T over pi d cube. Rearrange this equation for d0, that is d0 cube is equal to 16T over pi Ta. Here T represents the torque and Ta is the allowable shear stress. All the values are given. Torque is 1200 Newton meter while the allowable shear stress is 40 megapascal. So after putting all the values and simplifying the equation for d0, the outer diameter of solid shaft will be 0.0535 meter or 53.5 millimeter. However, in the case of allowable rate of twist, we start by finding the required polar moment of inertia IP. For this we have to rearrange the equation of angle of twist, that is theta is equal to T over G IP. Now rearrange this equation for IP, that is T over G theta. Here the value of torque is 1200 Newton meter, that is given in the statement. Shear modulus of elasticity G is 78 gigapascal, that is also given in the statement. And the allowable rate of twist is 0.75 degree per meter. But we have to convert this into radians, as you can see here. So after some simple calculations, the polar moment of inertia will be 1175 cross 10 raised to power minus 9. Since the polar moment of inertia is equal to pi d4 over 32, the required diameter is d0 power 4 is equal to 32 ip over pi. Now put the value of polar moment of inertia and simplify the equation for d0. The diameter will be 0.0588 meter or 58.8 millimeter. Comparing the two values of d0, we see that the rate of twist governs the design and the required diameter of the solid shaft is 58.8 millimeter. However, in practical design, we would select a diameter slightly higher than the calculated value of d0. For instance, 60 millimeter. In part B, we have to determine the required outer diameter d2 of the hollow shaft. If the thickness T of the shaft is specified as 1/10 of the outer diameter. Once again, the required diameter is based upon either the allowable shear stress or the allowable rate of twist. We begin by noting that the outer diameter of the bar is d2 and the inner diameter is expressed as d1 is equal to d2 minus 2t. Put t is equal to 0.1 d2 as given that the thickness of the shaft is 1/10 of the outer diameter and d1 will be equal to 0.8 d2. Thus the polar moment of inertia of a circular tube is Ip is equal to pi by 32 d2 power 4 minus d1 power 4. Here Ip represents the polar moment of inertia of the circular bar. So once again put 0.8 d2 in place of d1 and the equation reduces to 0.05796 d2 power 4. However, in the case of allowable shear stress, we use the Taurian formula that applies on circular tubes as follows. Ta is equal to Tr over Ip. Replace R with d2 over 2 and Ip with 0.05796 d2 power 4 as expressed in previous equation. So the equation becomes T over 0.1159 d2 cube. And rearranging we get d2 cube is equal to T over 0.1159 ta. Here put T, that is actually the torque given in the statement 1200 Newton meter, and the allowable shear stress star, that is 40 megapascal. And solving for d2 gives 0.0637 meter or 63.7 millimeter, which is actually the required outer diameter based upon the shear stress. However, in the case of allowable rate of twist, we use the equation theta is equal to T over G IP. After replacing with theta allowable, actually theta allow represents the allowable rate of twist and IP with 0.05796 d2 power 4. The equation becomes theta allow is equal to T over G 0.05796 d2 power 4. Now rearrange this equation for d2 as d2 power 4 is equal to T over 0.05796 g theta allow. As we have already done, put the values of torque T, that is actually 1200 Newton meter, shear modulus of elasticity already given in the statement, that is 78 gigapascal, and allowable rate of twist, that is 0.75 degree per meter. Convert allowable rate of twist into radians and performing simple calculations, d2 will be 0.071 meter or 67.1 millimeter, which is the required diameter based upon the rate of twist. Now comparing the two values of d2, we use that the rate of twist governs the design and the required outer diameter of the hollow shaft is 67.1 millimeter. The inner diameter, that is actually 0.8 d2 or 53.7 mm after performing or putting the value of d2. As practical values, we might select d2, that is 70 millimeter, and d1, that is actually 0.8 d2 or 53.7, we can select d1 as 56 mm. So after calculating the required diameter d0 of the solid shaft in part A and required outer diameter d2 of the hollow shaft in part B, now we have to determine the ratio of diameters, that is actually d2 over d0, and the ratio of weights of the hollow and solid shaft in part C of this problem. The ratio of the outer diameter of the hollow shaft to the diameter of the solid shaft, that is actually expressed as d2 over d0 after putting the values of diameters, the ratio will be equal to 1.14. Since the weights of the shaft are proportional to their cross-sectional areas, we can express the ratio of the weights of the hollow shaft to the weight of the solid shaft as follows. W hollow over W solid is equal to A hollow over A solid. Here in this equation, W represents the weight and A actually symbolizes the area of hollow and solid shaft respectively. The area of hollow shaft is equal to pi d2 square minus d1 square divided by 4. In the same way, the area of hollow shaft is In the same way, the area of solid shaft is pi d naught square over 4. D1 and D2 represents the inner and outer diameter of the hollow shaft respectively, and in the same way D naught is the diameter of the solid shaft. So after simplifying the equation and putting the values of diameters, the ratio will be equal to 0.47. These results show that the hollow shaft uses only 47% as much material as does the solid shaft, while its outer diameter is only 14% larger. This problem actually illustrates how to determine the required size of both solid bars and circular tubes when allowable stresses and allowable rate of twist are known. It also illustrates the fact that circular tubes are more efficient in the use of materials than are solid circular bars. Thank you for your attention.